It's about to set a lot of y'all free and put a lot more money in your pockets. Now, this is for my faith-led, mission-driven entrepreneurs. If that is you, I need you to lock in and listen up, okay? Because this is about to set your business on a new trajectory. And trust me, you don't want to miss it. Now, I got my notes on the side because I'm about to jam pack a bunch of value in this session, and I want to make sure you don't miss it. Now, first things first, can I let you in on a little secret? Most entrepreneurs think they have a marketing or a sales problem when they're not generating the revenue that they know is possible. But I'm here to tell you, you don't. You don't have a marketing or a sales problem. You have a revenue lock problem. And as a former Fortune 50 marketing executive, I can tell you that with confidence, okay? But don't worry, because I'm about to break down for you in this video exactly what to do to solve it. And you might ask, like, why is she about to give me all this free game? It's plain and simple. I want to see more wealthy, good-hearted people. Because quite frankly, we ain't got enough of them right now. You feel me? So I know if I can help more good-hearted people get more wealth in their bank accounts, the world's going to be a better place for it. So lock in, and you probably want to go grab a pen and a notepad, your notes app, something, because trust me, you're going to want to write this down. Now you can go back and replay this video because run them views up. I'm okay with that too. But I also want to save you some time. So in this video, I'm going to break down for you my 4S model, right? And it's the code that is going to unlock that revenue lock that I just told you about. And I promise you will never be the same, and your business will never be the same after understanding this. Now, in this video, not only am I going to show you and break down that 4S model that will unlock your revenue, I'm also going to share the number one thing that most people miss when they are trying to make sure that their revenue is uncapped, as well as if you stay until the end, oh baby, you will not be disappointed, because I'm going to give you something so good, you're going to wonder why I didn't charge you for it. But let's go ahead and get into the things that most people miss, because there are four, you hear me? 4 sneaky walls that must be knocked down to get the business success that you want. But most people ignore these. And I can tell you, as a person who has spent over 15 years building multi-million and even multi-billion-dollar brands, I can tell you that this component is key to the success of any business. Whereas most people miss that number one sneaky thing, you won't, because you about to watch this video and you about to get the game that you need. So you ready? Do you have your pen and your notepad or your notes app or something? Can I get ahead and just drop a comment in there and just let me know, yes, ready, something. Okay? Because I really want to make sure you don't miss this, because we're trying to make you wealthy. Okay. I just shared a short overview of this with a 7-figure entrepreneur the other day. And he said, I need to go back and watch the replay because you just gave a whole masterclass. And he didn't even get the full thing that y'all about to get. Okay? So seriously, get your notepads out or whatever. Yeah. So you're about to get the full breakdown. And it's an 8-part ecosystem where alignment creates abundance. And I'm not talking about the woo-woo kind. Not, that, woo-woo, just get in alignment. No, I'm talking about 8 highly practical and actionable components that is about to set you free and get you more money in your bank account. You with me? Okay. So if you got your notepad, right? Okay. Now, first off, remember, I want you to write at the top what your problem that you have is a revenue lock. A revenue lock. Lock that in, because I'm about to give you the 8 components that's about to remove that. So the first one, or rather, I don't know about y'all, but I like to see the full picture of where we're going so that I can then process, okay, help me understand the relevance of these pieces. So that's what I'm about to gift y'all. So there's 8 components in the system. There are 2 sections. In your notes, what I want you to first write is identity, alignment. Right? You writing with me? Okay. So the first part to fix your revenue lock is identity alignment. Okay? That's the first piece you need. Leave space because there's 4 components under there that I'm about to gift you. Now, the next spot that you need to write in is market alignment. And y'all gonna have to bear with me because this board ain't that big. But market alignment is the next one. Okay? So you have identity alignment and market alignment. Kudos to you because you now know more than probably 99% of entrepreneurs because you know the 2 key components in this ecosystem that you need to have uncapped revenue. You need identity alignment and you need market alignment. Now I'm about to break down for you what that actually entails. So identity alignment. So what I told you about, like in Fortune 50 companies, that's a key component that most people miss and underestimate when it comes to entrepreneurship. It's your brand equity, right? So I spent about a little bit over 7 years working on Tide, the laundry detergent that basically like everybody has bought at some point in their lifetime. That one, yeah. A key part of any brand success is having a solid brand equity. It is crucial that your brand equity gives people confidence to invest in or to buy you. So for Tide, it is synonymous with clean clothes. Like, it is like, okay, this is the Tide that I trust. Like, the tagline literally is, if it's got to be clean, it's got to be Tide. Like, that is the brand equity. Like, if you want clean clothes, you're going to buy some Tide, right? Even though it's more premium. The thing that a lot of entrepreneurs miss is that brand equity still applies, same way that it does with consumer packaged goods, like the products that you buy on the shelf. But it shows up in a different way. For many service-based, for all service-based business owners, you are the brand equity, okay? You, yes, you are the brand equity. Did you clock it? I want to make sure. Like, you might want to write that down. I am the brand equity, right? Because if people don't trust in you and understand the value that you bring, or if you don't even understand the value that you bring, you're never going to have a sustainable business model, at least not one that doesn't burn you out. Okay? So this is why identity alignment is key. And that's the thing that most people miss. They go off just trying to get to the marketing and the sales tactics without ever addressing the brand equity. And this identity alignment, aka, is your brand equity. So there are 4 sneaky walls that often are operating in the background of our subconscious mind that is blocking us from abundance, joy, peace, and the impact that we want to make, right? So it's blocking you from abundance, the money you want to make, peace, the peace of mind you want to have, joy, what you want to feel in your everyday life, and the impact that you want to make in the world with the gifts that God has given you. Okay? So those 4 walls, you ready for them? Okay. Those 4 walls. Now we're going to have to separate this out so you can see them better. Are fear, doubt, worry, and exhaustion. We're running out of a little room here, but I'll repeat them again for you. You got fear, doubt, worry, and exhaustion. Those are the 4 walls that will block you from abundance, joy, peace, and impact. And so how do these show up? These show up as let's say God has called you to start this business and you finally started moving on it. and you're like, okay, I'm doing the things. I've registered the business. I've started putting myself out there. I've been posting on social. I have built the website. You know, you doing the things. You maybe even out here got your YouTube channel going. But there's a deep knowing that you have on what you really supposed to be talking about or what you really supposed to be doing that you've been putting off because there's some level of fear, doubt, worry, or exhaustion. It might be like, I don't know, I'm afraid to say that thing that I really want to say because it might not appeal to everybody. And so then I might limit my revenue potential. You didn't say that before, ain't you? Or it might show up as even like, you know, let me take a step back because this whole system that I'm breaking down for y'all, this 8-part ecosystem, it's all about helping you become a master at turning attention into action, right? And you might be wondering like, well, how does turning attention into action tie to my brand equity, aka my identity alignment? Well, it's because in some way, shape, or form, God has gotten your attention that now you have finally stopped being disobedient and ignoring the call to start this business or, you know, launch this service that you have. So he's got your attention, right? And you've started taking action, but somewhere, even if it's hidden within your subconscious, which it likely is, there is fear, doubt, worry, or exhaustion blocking you from taking the full action that God has called you to take, right? So that could show up as maybe you have felt the nudge to reach out to somebody for a network connection or just had, you know, it placed on your spirit to reach out to this person. But because you're afraid of, oh, well, or you're worried rather that like, oh, well, I don't want to be a bother to this person, that you ain't actually reached out. Yeah. Or it might be that God told you to post a video about a certain topic, but you like, oh, well, I don't know what my coworkers and my friends and my family gonna think if I post that video, right? And this is exactly how we logic our way out of our blessings and abundance that is our inheritance. I want you to hear that. That is how you logic your way out of your blessings and your abundance. Think about like biblically real quick. And I ain't gonna belabor it too long because I want to jam pack all this value in here quickly and we need to get to market alignment. But just think about it. In the Bible, God told the Israelites to walk around the walls of Jericho for 6 days, silent. And then on the last day to praise him and the walls will fall down. Think about how crazy that sounds. Yeah. But guess what? They did it. And the thing that sounded crazy is the thing that allowed them to win the battle. Or think about how crazy it might have sounded when he was like, yo, Moses, I'm going to tell you go tell Pharaoh to let my people go. And when you get to this water called the Red Sea, I just need you to reach out this staff and then it's going to separate. What? But it did. And guess what? It led to freedom. But now we don't even want to call the person that God didn't put on our heart. We don't even want to post the video that he didn't tell us to post. We don't even want to, just do the things that he tell us to do. But anyways, neither here nor there. But I even tell you one personal example. Like just a couple weeks ago, God had told me to post this video on the fear of making the wrong move, and why people should not be afraid of making the wrong move. And I was like, I'm busy. I'm doing something. My hair frazzled, and like, let me get done up first. And then he kept putting a nudge on me, and so I did it. And guess what? That video got over 57,000 views and still counting on TikTok. And it's led to client leads. But now imagine if I said, well, no, God, my hair looking crazy, and I don't know. And now, mind you, I did start off with this, but God was like, skip it. So this is why those 4 walls, fear, doubt, worry, exhaustion, you got to figure out where they at, and you got to bust them down. Because once we bust them things down, we cooking with something. Then that's when we can get to market alignment. Because this is where that Fortune 50 brand building expertise about to really get some money in your pockets, okay? So with market alignment, this is anchored in helping you solve that revenue lock we talked about. So remember, when I started this, I told you most entrepreneurs be like, oh, well, my business ain't growing how it's supposed to be growing, and that's because I got, I need to just improve my marketing, and I need a better marketing strategy, or I just need to get better at sales. That ain't it. You don't have a marketing and a sales problem. You have a what? A revenue lock problem. Some of y'all was listening. Some of y'all, we working on it, but that's okay. Revenue lock problem. That's what you have. And the key, or the code rather, to unlocking that revenue lock is what I call the 4S model. So get your pens ready, okay? So the 4S model. What are the 4 S's we have? Stop is the first one. Then we got signal. Let me see if I can get all of these in this one session rule, one part of the board. Then we got spot. And we got sell. So your 4S system is spot, signal. Oh, sorry. I'm reading it off screen. Stop, signal, spot, sell. Stop, signal, spot, sell. Those are the 4 S's that will unlock the revenue lock that you currently have if you're not generating the money that you know you are capable of generating. Now, what does that mean? So, each step is very important, and it ties to shopper psychology, which I have spent over 15 years learning. So I started off at Hallmark Cards, and I was literally the one designing the flow of the cards, understanding like what makes shopper navigation easy, how to get into the psychology of the buyer. And then I spent over 10 years at Procter & Gamble working on like, how do we turn $3 billion brands into $4 billion brands? How do we, grow a multi-million-dollar business by 3, 5, 6%, right? And so trust me, I know all the various tools, tricks, and principles. And the great news is you don't need millions of dollars in marketing and ad dollars to be able to leverage these in your business today. So let's break down those 4 S's. So like I said, the first one is stop. This is simply catching people's attention. The right people. So whoever your audience is, to be one of the first steps to be able to make sure that you have uncapped revenue is you got to get good at catching people's attention. The right people, the people that you want to serve and work with. Yeah. How do you catch their attention? It is, let me create some more space. There is a little acronym that's going to make this easy for you to remember. And it's called TONI. We're going to check on our little friend TONI. And TONI is spelled with an I, by the way. So TONI is threats. You following with me? I hope you're writing it down. Threats, opportunities, novelty, and identity association. We're just gonna make that short. So you want to get TONI. This is the first step of let me just remove that revenue lock right now, because y'all know it's a revenue lock, right? Y'all know that part, so I will erase that part. This is the first stage of stop. Is to be able to stop people, to be able to catch the right people's attention. You need to speak to their subconscious. How do you speak to their subconscious? It's through threats, opportunities, novelty, and identity association. Those are the things that our brain is always scanning the environment for. It's scanning the environment for threats, for opportunities, for something new and different, novelty, and for identity association, something that's like we see ourselves in it, like, and it catches our attention because it feels relatable, right? And so if you want to catch attention, you have to get good at mastering stop by using TONI for in a way that is relevant for the people that you want to catch the attention of. The next S, so we started with stop, right? The next S is signal. And what you want to do is you want to signal, once you've stopped them and caught their attention, you want to signal to that audience that you just so beautifully caught their attention. You want to signal to that audience that, oh, this looks relevant to me. So you want to signal relevance. Okay? Signal relevance is what you want to do. That then makes them say, hey, now they were scanning, they saw it, and they're like, oh, wait. Let me take a little bit closer look. Now I'm checking it out. Okay, let me stay engaged. Now, after you have you've caught their attention, you have lasered in and helped them see, oh yes, this is relevant for me. That's when you want to then spot is where it comes in. And now spot, that's not about you. That's about them. And what you want them to say, to know that you've actually done spot well, is you want them to say, oh, I see myself in this. So not only is this relevant, I see that it's relevant for me and I can relate to it in a way that, like, yeah, I've had that experience before. Yes, I've had that desire. Yeah, I've had that problem. Yeah, I've had that need. With me. Shake your head. Yes, yeah. Okay. Now, after you have mastered spot, and these can, you can hit various ones at different times, but what I will tell you is if any of the S's at the top are broken, it's going to be much harder. Like, you're going to basically like squeeze out your ability to be able to get maximum revenue at any of the other stages. So the last one. So after you get good with spot, the next thing that you want to do is you want to sell. And now don't think about this as like an icky strategy of like, oh, I'm selling and I don't want to sell. This is like, sell them on why this is worth my time, my money, or my energy. Time, money, energy. Why is it worth my time, my money, or my energy? That needs to be so clearly communicated to them that they are willing to give you their time, money, or energy. And it might even be like, hey, I know you have sold me to watch this video because you're dropping good value. And so now you've sold me on this is worth my time. Right? And so that is what you want to do. This also happens in sales calls. So it's like, okay, I need you to sell me on whatever service that you're offering. Why is this worth my money? Right? And that's when you bring in the value equation. And because this is getting longer than what I expected, I'm gonna break down the value equation. That's a whole nother topic. We can dive deeper into that value equation. But now you have not only the identity alignment that you need, which is AKA your brand equity needs to be strong. And you have the 4 walls framework that allows you to make sure that that's in the place that it needs to be. So you got identity, 4 walls, and then you got market. And I hope y'all writing this down. You got market and you have the 4 S's. And this is the solve for your revenue lock. So if you have a revenue lock, you need to first get identity alignment. And how do you get the identity alignment? You get the identity alignment by addressing the 4 walls and making sure you diagnose and dismantle those, right? Then you work on market alignment. How do you get market alignment to unlock your revenue? You implement the 4S model, which is the code that unlocks your revenue so your revenue is no longer capped. And so if you've been struggling and striving, trying to figure out, like, I know I have the skills and the capability to generate more revenue than I'm generating today, but for some reason, no matter how hard I struggle and try, it just ain't working. I just gave you the whole blueprint on where you need to focus. You don't need no like kid and caboodle's worth of marketing tactics. You don't need another marketing program to sign up for, because you probably was. I probably just saved you a couple $1,000s. You don't need another sales script template, and that'll be another video too, because you probably didn't pay for some sales script templates that's actually hurting you. And I need you to know how, but that's too much for this video. But yes, there you have the whole blueprint now. And like I said, the 7-figure entrepreneur that I shared just part of this with, like he just got the little small snippet of the 4S system, the 4S model. And he was like, that is a whole masterclass. So if a 7-figure entrepreneur is like, that's a masterclass that I need to go rewatch. If you're trying to generate some serious revenue in your business, please make sure you do not forget, it's not a marketing or a sales problem you have. It's a what? A revenue lock problem. And how do you solve it? You solve it with identity alignment using the 4 walls framework. And you then solve it with market alignment using the 4S model. Okay? I want to make sure you wrote that down. Now, here is the thing that I promised you at the beginning of this video, that because you stay to the end, you get this added bonus that you can be like, dang, you about to give me that for free. I am. Because like I said, I want to see more wealthy, good-hearted people in the world, because trust me, oh, we need it. We need it, right? Yes. So, because you stay to the end, one of the things that I want to help you do is quickly diagnose which of the 4 S's is your weakest. So to be able to know, where do I focus my effort first? And so I've developed a free diagnostic tool that will be linked in the description and or the comments. So make sure to look down below this video. And there's a free diagnostic tool that I'm giving you access to for free, that will help you quickly diagnose which S is the area that you should focus on first, right? So you know exactly where to focus. And if you are the type of person, the type of entrepreneur who is like, look, that's great, and I'm down for that, and I can go execute all these things, but I also know the value of my time, and I really want to collapse that time, right? So I can really get to that uncapped revenue much faster. I hear you. And for those of you who are those action takers that are like, let me get to the money quickly, so I ain't gotta hustle, burn out, and watch 1,001 videos to get there, I got you. I offer strategic advisory intensive that there will be a link somewhere down in the description or the comments, where you can book a strategic fit call, and we can discern if that's the right next step for you. And what we do in that is, that's where I come in as the diagnostician and help you quickly diagnose out of these 8 components in this ecosystem where your focus is creating the highest amount of leverage to get you to revenue faster, right? And so what I want you to remember out of all of this is revenue lock. If you are at a space where you are not generating the type of revenue that you know you are capable of, you have a revenue lock. And how do you get free from that revenue lock? Identity alignment, market alignment. With identity alignment, you diagnose and dismantle the 4 walls. With market alignment, that's where you bring in the 4S code or the 4S model that unlocks that revenue. Now, you have the 8-component ecosystem that allows you to get uncapped revenue in a way that not only generates wealth, but it also generates freedom, peace, and impact. So I done gave you the whole game for free. There's some nuances in here that I'll break down in other videos. So I gave you a little bit of a foreshadow of like the value equation. There's a proof gathering process. There's a lot more of like things that you can pull into this. Like, you have the simple framework of like what you need, but in terms of the detailed execution and different levers that you can pull within each of these different 8 components, don't worry, I got you. You can watch more in the next videos. All right, so remember, alignment creates abundance, right? And you need identity alignment and market alignment to have uncapped revenue. So you no longer have that revenue lock. All right? Love y'all. See you in the next video.